here's another big fear I hear prescriptive nonfiction would-be authors express when we sit down and talk about what has gotten in their way of writing the book they claim to want to write. They're pretty good at articulating this, which is that the market is saturated with books on their particular subject. The subject they want to write about, there's like 50 million books that already speak to this topic. So I think this is a really great fear or reservation to have, because it means that we have to get super clear on why your book and why you are necessary when it comes to bringing these new ideas into the market. So if you're a leadership expert, I love leadership. If you're a leadership expert and you go to Amazon and you go to the book section and you type in under books leadership, you're going to get 60,000 plus hits. That means there are 60,000 plus books out there on this topic, right? So I would call that a saturated market. And if you look at the first page of Amazon, you're going to see the big names. You're going to see the Patrick Lencionis and the Simon Sinecks and the John Maxwells. And you're going to see Brene Brown is now in this arena, and Jocko Willink and Henry Kissinger. All right, like you're never going to compete with Henry Kissinger. Nobody's going to compete with Henry Kissinger. He's probably the best known leader, from the political side that there is. But you're going to see all of these big names. And that's actually some really good news. Because if you're seeing this very large market, this market that has a lot of players in it, it means that there is a market, that there is a calling for this kind of books, that there are plenty of interested readers in this particular topic. And readers that are interested in this topic, they don't read just one book, they read 10, they read 20, they read 30 books. If you're interested in a topic that doesn't have a market, you decide, now is the time to write about Jack Russell Terrier breathing techniques. And you plug that into Amazon and you get 0 hits. That means there is no market. And I don't know about you, but I don't want to establish a market. The risk of spending 6 months of my life it's just way too high. So we want a market. We want a market with a lot of active players. So first, we got to get really clear on what your authority is in this market, what your relevance is in this market, because I'm assuming that if you want to be playing around in the leadership development area, you've got some sort of credibility. So it's time to own that credibility, right? Like nobody competes with Henry Kissinger, so forget about the rest. The second thing is, great, it's a saturated market, so we need to do a little bit of market analysis before you sit down to write your book. We need to essentially establish how your book fits into the oeuvre, as we like to say. So what is your book bringing to the market that is similar to the big 5 or 6 or 7 big hit releases in the last 5 years? How is your book similar to those? We want some similarities because those books have been proven bestsellers. Then how does your book promise to differentiate yourself? So we know how you're going to kind of cover some of those similar topics or take on a similar angle, but how are you going to differentiate yourself from that? Like, are you going to be using more research? Are you going to be telling more stories? Are you coming at it from a unique angle? Are you coming at it from like a military angle? Are you coming at it from, some, rise from the bottom to the very top angle? And why does this book need to be written right now? Right? If there's a million other books out there, why does this book need to be written? You need to present a case for that. And it's not like, everybody's going to die if this book isn't out there, but there's a need for this that you want to, number one, establish and then make a case for. Then, give us some interesting statistics or reports that really support the need for why this book needs to be written right now. So if you do that front leg work, if you sit down and you take the time to build the argument of how your book is similar to some of these great books in this particular field and how you plan to differentiate, you're going to eliminate so much doubt when you sit down to write your book. You are not going to be wringing your hands and second guessing yourself every step of the way. So do the front end work first.